Lijep pozdrav poštovani gledatelji, dobrodošli u još jedan podcast Večernjeg lista. Danas imamo specijalne goste, danas ćemo svirati, pjevati, pričati, a razgovarati na hrvatskom, na engleskom i ko zna što nećemo sve, jer moji dragi gosti dolaze nam, vjerovali ili ne, iz dalekog Oaklanda. Oni su članovi Klape Samoana, Christian i Austin. Hi guys.
Hey, dobar dan.
Dobar dan. Do you understand Croatian? You can understand it, right?
Yeah, I understand.
So I can speak on English or Croatian?
It's
both.
up to you.
Up to me. So how are you? Is it hot to you here in Croatia?
Hot?
You used to
we're used
this
to
weather,
it.
yeah.
So in Samoa, it's about the same temperature like this.
In whole year, right?
Most of the year, yeah. I think, yeah. So
Is it maybe snowing sometimes there?
in Samoa, no.
No.
No,
I
in
know.
New Zealand, it snows a little bit.
Yeah, I know that.
But Samoa, never.
No.
Austin didn't see the snow until we went to Phoenix in 2019.
2019.
So he hadn't
And
seen
what was it
snow
like
before.
to see snow for the first time 3 years ago?
It was cold.
Yeah. So I must say that you are very famous here in Croatia for the last 10 years, right? Because of your songs. Tell me about it. Tell me about your beginnings. How did you start?
So we started in when I was 15, I think, back in 2008, and I was the tuba player for our high school band, and we went to Italy, Slovenia, and Croatia, and our head of music is Mr. Antun Poljanić from Dubrovnik, and he said, hey, when we get to Croatia, make sure you've learned this one song, Croaću iz duše te ljubim.
Tomislav Bralić, yeah.
Bralić. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I learned that, and then we arrived in, our first concert was in Sveti Donat in Zadar. And at the end of the concert, we sang this song, Croaću iz duše te ljubim, and the reaction from the audience was amazing. People were crying, standing ovation, and we had, a lot of strangers coming up to me and kissing me and all kinds of things. And then so for the next 3 years, I just keep singing this one song in New Zealand to the Croatian community. 2011, I was invited by Croatian folklore group Kraj Tomislav in Auckland to come as soloist to Croatia. And then while I was here, I heard the Lado folklore ensemble sing Vilo Moja as a klapa. And I said, hey, this sounds similar to our Pacific Island traditional music. And so I came back, got the brothers together and our other friends in high school, and we started our Klapa Samoana. And then we came to Omiš Festival in 2013 and in 2015. And then we had plans to come back in 2018 as a klapa, but it's just a bit expensive to come from New Zealand.
There are 8 of you in the Klapa, right?
So when we started, there were 7 of us, and now there are about 10 of us.
10.
So the numbers keep changing as people, they have life and move on, and others come in. And
You said that there are lots of similarities between Croatian and Samoan music. You are also singing a cappella in Samoan.
Yeah, we have a lot of a cappella singing in Samoan. In traditional Samoan music is a very, very a cappella. And there's a movement right now in our cultural groups and in our folklore ensembles to go back to that without accompaniment, without electric instruments or anything, and to go back to the pure traditional a cappella singing. So there's a good connection there.
Yeah, and tell me how many songs do you know now in Croatian?
Sada možemo pjevat za 6 sati na hrvatskom.
6 sati?
Ja, 6 sati na hrvatskom.
Ja znam da draga si mnogim drugim ljudima, al samo moja si, ti uvijek si u grudima, u noć povedi me, uzmi me i ljubi me, iz ovog ludog sna. Nikad ne probudi me, za te živim ja. Za te umrijeću i sve dok živim o tebi pjevaću. Zlato moje, sunce moje, dušo moja, moj živote ljubavi. Srećo moja, tugo moja, moja posljednja i prva ljubavi. Zlato moje, sunce moje, dušo moja, moj živote ljubavi. Srećo moja, tugo moja, moja posljednja i prva ljubavi. U noć povedi me, uzmi me i ljubi me iz ovog divnog sna. Nikad ne probudi me, za te živim ja. Za te umrijeću i sve dok živim o tebi pjevaću. Zlato moje, sunce moje, dušo moja, moj živote ljubavi. Srećo moja, tugo moja, moja posljednja i prva ljubavi. Srećo moja, tugo moja, moja posljednja i prva
What are your favorite songs?
Our songs, the favorites keep changing. One which we will probably hardly never do in concert is Ane Moja from Braličan Intrade as well. That one's still one of my favorites.
Hey, what's your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite song?
Yeah. Too many.
Too
I'm gonna
many.
need another hour or something to think about it. Yeah.
Have you met Tomislav Bralić?
No, we haven't met them yet.
No.
Which is
But
funny.
he knows about you, yeah.
I think so, maybe. I don't know.
Tell me, how do you like in Croatia here? What's the best and the worst thing in Croatia for you people from Auckland?
Best thing is food. Food and people, they all go hand in hand. So let's say like us in Samoan. In Samoan culture, you can't just sit there without having something to eat, and there's no such thing as because in New Zealand you can have a meeting where it's just a meeting. It's just talking.
I read something in your last one of the interviews in Croatia that that you didn't know that we are drinking so much here in Croatia, right?
Well, yeah, when I first got here, I didn't realize that. But now we've been here maybe 16, 17, 18 times. So, yeah, we know very well.
You don't drink in Samoa? Or
they do, but it's Samoa was first evangelized by Protestants, and so they had a very negative view of alcohol and that kind of stuff. So that's sort of become part of Samoan culture. So, for example, in a lot of videos, Samoans would try and avoid having alcohol in their videos or smoking, or even though everyone knows they smoke and drink. But it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing. Yeah.
So it's very Whereas for us, because we grew up Catholic, it's normal for us. You know. But yeah, it's.
And what do you think about girls in Croatia?
Girls are very beautiful here.
Yeah.
Yeah, very beautiful, and they're all very, very skinny.
Skinny,
which is good. But I always think to myself, how they have so much food around and stay so skinny.
Oh, because lots of our girls are always in fitness.
And a lot of them are always walking. I can't believe how far people will walk here. You know.
Really, I don't understand that either. What are your favorite singers? I know that Oliver Dragojević was one of the favorites, right?
He's my favorite.
Yeah, we have a lot of favorites right now. I mean, the guys from Dalmatina, I love their songs.
Refugio, do you know to sing Refugio?
Who?
Refugio from Dalmatino. That's the hit from the last year.
We it's funny because we had to do an interview where we said hi to them, and then I said to this guy, I go, do you know what? I don't even know what their real names are. I just know their stage name. And you know the normal ones: Mate Bolic, Škoro, Thompson. Thompson's very big in diaspora, so. We end up singing a lot of his stuff as well.
What artists have you met in Croatia?
All of those guys.
All of those guys. Mate, Thompson.
And
what do you think about Mišo Kovač?
Mišo is a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in New York with some Croatians in New York when he had his big concert in Poljudu. And you know, it's people don't. I think we don't appreciate enough how much music does for people in general, especially with everything that goes on in life. Music is one of those things that is able to transcend all of the other stuff.
I know that there are lots of Croats in Auckland, right? And
I think there's 150,000 in New Zealand, I think, or something like that.
So you are like our ambassadors in New Zealand now.
Yeah, it's funny because we in New Zealand, like over here, we get stopped all the time in the middle of the street, or when we go somewhere and people are, hey, yesterday we Samoa, yes, more. But in New Zealand, nobody cares about us.
So everyone knows you here, but no one knows who you are in Samoa.
Everyone over there. Oh, in Samoa, they know. So it's funny. Here we get called Samoa, and in Samoa we get called Croatia. So, but it's amazing to see over the last 10 years, how much we've been able to bring more awareness to both countries. So a lot of people in New Zealand didn't realize. I remember there was one New Zealand person, he goes, I didn't realize Croatia was near Italy. I thought it was in the middle of Iran or Asia or somewhere.
Really?
And I'm like, really? And then here in Croatia, you get people like, we've never heard of Samoa before we met you guys. And so it's...
so you are ambassadors for both countries?
Yeah, well, I don't know about ambassadors. But we try to bring together
very proud of both,
different parts of the world.
To be able to experience both,
Yeah, and we got some projects that we're working on to bring that closer and closer, and yeah, we'll see what happens into the future.
Svaki put kad se mi poznamo, a da mi te sebi svat, kad ćeš zaspat, prvo sna da ti reče da volim te još. Vilo moja, ti si moj san, ti si moj san, a lag je bilo bi da si tu ja mi, da te ne poznam, da te ne znam, a lag je bilo bi da si tu ja mi, da te ne poznam, da te ne znam. Svaki put kad se mi pogledamo, ti ne ozdraviš ko da se ne poznamo, a da mi te sebi svat, kad ćeš zaspat, prvo sna da ti reče da volim te još. Vilo moja, ti si moj san, ti si moj san, a lag je bilo bi da si tu ja mi, da te ne poznam, da te ne znam, a lag je bilo bi da si tu ja mi, da te ne poznam, da te ne znam. Vilo moja, vilo moja, vilo moja, vilo moja.
Tell me more about differences between Samoan people and Croatian people.
Well, I'll tell you about similarities first.
Okay.
Because the differences is a bit harder. The similarities are that Samoans and Croatians have a very relaxed mentality, where in New Zealand we have this thing called island time.
What's that?
Which means if I say 7 o'clock, people come at 8:30.
Oh, that's like...
And it's same like Croatians.
Yeah,
too.
that's
They're
like here, right?
Yeah, they're like, dosta imamo vremena, blah, 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 blah. And whereas, so that's one thing. We talked about the food, we talked about the alcohol. And then for us, so Catholicism, being Catholic, has now become the largest church in Samoa, United Church, and same thing, Croatia's Catholic. And so we have those similarities as well. And the largest differences, I think, come from just
the language. You got in Croatian, there's a lot of consonants right next to each other. Whereas Samoans will have just vowels. Some words.
We have, so if you have 12 letters, Croatian has 9 of them that are consonants, whereas Samoan has 9 of them that are vowels.
We have words like all consonants, like tvrd.
And the R's for me are very hard. Like,
so, and right now we're recording an album with Rubicon Studios and Croatia Records, so we're working on that right now. We were doing that for the last 2 weeks. And one thing we've had to really work on is sh and ch and sh. And we'll do like 12 takes, just sh, ch, sh, and they're like, it's too soft. I'm like, sh, sh. So we've had to do a lot of exercises around the language and things like that.
Tell me more about the album. What songs are you recording on?
So we have 9 covers from different people.
Songs that we've sung over
very famous stuff.
Like what?
Ne dirajte mi ravnicu, Pismo moje od Olivera, Mate Bulić, Moja Hercegovina, Suza za Zagorske brege. So all of those are the covers.
So, yeah.
And then imamo isto 4 autorske pjesme written by well-known Croatian writers. And,
cool.
and
I think that's a bit of a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah, a few of them, one Ante Pecotic, and one by Peggy.
Peggy Martinjak, yeah.
Yeah, and we're working on maybe one of Jacques Hudek, and so there's a whole lot of stuff in there. Yeah, but yeah, we have to see. Probably come out in spring, I think.
I'm very excited for it.
Very, very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff.
I know that Eurovision Song Contest is very famous in Australia. I don't know if it's in New Zealand.
Not so much in New Zealand because we don't have as many recent immigrants because most of the European immigrants to New Zealand are now 5th, 6th generation, so it's a bit more diluted. But in Australia, it's huge.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you maybe if you plan to represent Croatia on the Eurosong.
That's one of our goals that we've been talking about. So ever since we saw Klapa Samoana in Eurovision, that was back in 2014, I think, or
something like that.
14 or 15. And we said
before that, I think
maybe 13.
13,
yeah. And we said that's something that we want to do one day.
Yeah.
You know, and who knows? It could very well happen because we think that well, with our story, our interesting combination. You know, from 2 sides of the world, very different geographical cultures, but very similar. And I think that for Eurovision, people would love that story. And I think. And if we had a really good song, a little bit in English, a little bit in Croatian, a little bit in Samoan, then you know, I think people would love that.
Yeah, because the story is now the most important thing in Eurovision Song Contest.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's why for us, you know, it's important that people do realize, because a lot of people say, hey, do you have maybe grandmother or grandfather's Croatian? And I'm like,
no.
I'm like, nismo.
Look at my hair.
It's like, yeah, nothing. You know, we are full Samoan for a few generations now. I don't know, maybe further back, maybe somewhere, but I don't. Yeah, as far as we know. No.
Yeah, and tell me about this summer. You have lots of concerts in Croatia now.
So this summer we have a bit of a tour. We're doing a lot of private parties now. And stuff, and a lot of it is just to get back out there after COVID, to reconnect with. So, for example, here in Zagreb, we were doing recordings all day, 14, 18 hours a day, and people were messaging us, and they're saying, "Hey, when are you performing in Zagreb?" Blah blah blah. So then we reached out to La Bodega, and we said, "Hey, can we put on something for our fans?" Because we have a lot of supporters and people who want to see us perform, and so that's what really this year is about: is reaching out again to all the people that supported us during our journey and during this whole story that we talked about.
And yesterday we also went back and visited our friends in Zagvozd. So that was a lot of fun.
I read that you have now a town square in something
so
like that.
So we had in 2015.
In Zagvozd,
In 2015, they gave us a little tiny square, Trg Klapa Samoana u Zagvozdu. It's maybe like 30 square meters, but hey, it's something that's ours, and we're truly honored. Like yesterday, over this weekend, we were there, and you see the big. It's the only Samoan writing in the whole of Croatia, I know for sure. And you sit there, and you can't help but feel overwhelmed and grateful for the whole journey, for the support, for everything that's happened. Has been a huge blessing.
So at the end, can you learn me or our viewers something on Samoan, like dobar dan, something like that?
Yeah, Samoan, the greeting is talofa.
Talofa.
So that's like saying, dobar dan. But yeah, because if we just say bok, then that's more like malo. But talofa is the formal way of saying hello. And so yeah, for all of the people listening and watching, that's how you say hello in Samoan, talofa.
Talofa. Yeah. And how do you say I love you?
It's a bit longer.
Sorry?
Or we could say, what's an easier one? Or say alofatu. Alofatu.
Alofatu.
Yeah, alofatu.
Okay. So when I meet some girl from Samoa, I can say to her alofatu.
Yeah. Why not?
But you gotta let us know how that goes.
Yeah, let us know. We'll have a follow-up to see what happened after that one.
I will tell you that. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
For this pleasure talking and music which you performed, and hope to see you again here in Croatia. When will you come in full Klapa Samoana?
So we're looking at doing that maybe next year. It all depends on how the album goes. If the album does really well and everybody streams it and it goes really well and the singles do well, then we'll have enough money to pay for all 10 of us to come. Because right now, after COVID, just to go from New Zealand to Australia is about $700.
Really? Yeah.
One way. So to come here to Croatia is about
an arm, a leg.
Yeah, almost $4,000 return per person. So it's quite a bit. But I think we'll be able to pull it off because it'll be nice to come full circle back to where it started.
I will come to your concert then.
That's good. Yeah, don't come right now. Come when everyone else is.
I will come now also. Yeah. You will tell me when it's next time.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
Ok, thank you. Christian and Austin bili su naši gosti. Za kraj ćemo čuti još jednu njihovu pjesmu, dakle Klapa Samoana. Uskoro izlazi njihov prvi CD, pa ga možete poslušati u cijelosti, a do iduće godine dok nam ne dođu na koncert ćemo ih lijepo sad pozdraviti. Hvala i vama, poštovani gledatelji.
Svake noći za te Boga molim, pivajući kamenu i drači. Croatio, kamater te volim, umorna si, samo mi ne plači. Sve ću pisme pokloniti tebi, sve đardine neka mi te kite. Croatio, iz duše te ljubim, ja te volim ka imati dite. Croatio, iz duše te ljubim, ja te volim ka imati dite. Još se sjećam onih riči što mi uvijek priča čača. Nemoj sine nikud ići, tvoje kamen, maslina i drača. Nek te rani korak kruva, kapija vina, zrno soli. Nek ti kušin bude stina, al Hrvatsku si ne voli. Pisme će ti pivati slavuji, svirat će ti moje mandoline. Svaku stopu ove zemlje ljubi, kad odrasteš, voljeni moj sine. Svaku stopu ove zemlje ljubi, kad odrasteš, voljeni moj sine. Još se sjećam onih riči što mi uvijek priča čača. Nemoj sine nikud ići, tvoje kamen, maslina i drača. Nek te rani korak kruva, kaplja vina, zrno soli. Nek ti kušin bude stina, al Hrvatsku sine voli. Nek ti kušin bude stina, al Hrvatsku sine voli.